Relations between Kazakhstan and China have a strategic feature. The partnership is dynamically developing in all industries of interaction. According to international political scientists, the potential for cooperation is very high. According to a scholar of Oriental studies, Yuri Tavrovsky, the steady pace of development of Kazakhstan and China is the result of existing long-term strategies.
Вот посмотрите, сейчас во всем мире, насколько я знаю, существует два долгосрочных плана.
Now there are two long-term plans in the world, one in China, which we mentioned, one in Kazakhstan until 2050. Both of these long-term plans are very active and well implemented. We see that the Chinese and Kazakh versions are not just a fantasy, but the goodwill and the work of the mind of an outstanding leader. This is a vital necessity for the nation.
Это не просто какая-то фантазия, это благопожелание, это произведение ума там выдающегося лидера, а это жизненная необходимость. Это жизненная необходимость для нации.
This year, the foreign trade turnover between Kazakhstan and China increased by 31%. The volume of exports amounted to $3.5 billion and imports were estimated at $3 billion. Kazakhstan exports copper, radioactive elements, ferroalloys, and other metals to China. Trade cooperation with China is already established in Aktobe, Karaganda, and in eastern Kazakhstan, which made up 51% of the total trade turnover. The flow of imported goods from China also increased. Primarily, the import includes mobile phones, computers, and clothes. In the first place is the Almaty city, which imported 48% of goods from China. This year, the situation in the world economy has improved. This contributed to the growth of the trade turnover. The external trade turnover between Kazakhstan and China has reached a much higher level than in the previous year. This is an indicator of the growth of domestic demand in both countries. According to experts, Kazakhstan and China have many opportunities for even closer cooperation. For this purpose, Ma Xiaohe claims that it is necessary to raise the status of free economic zones to the level of free logistics zones. In addition to this, it is necessary to jointly develop new technologies. Our strategy, One Belt, One Road, has allowed us to implement long-term strategic projects with neighboring countries. As a result, trust between Kazakhstan and China increased and partnership was strengthened. It makes no sense to hide that today many states are only striving to make a profit, which weakens economic relations. However, Kazakhstan has established close ties with its neighbors and was able to achieve economic growth. Last week, Kazakhstan signed an agreement with China on the export of products for $5,300,000. At the business forum in Urumqi, 13 domestic manufacturers presented their products to the Chinese companies. Other countries highly appreciate the high results of interconnection of the infrastructure programs between Kazakhstan and China. Ukraine intends to join the new Silk Road initiative. Successful implementation of this project will contribute to further strengthening of relations with China, as well as Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and the EU countries. This was voiced by Ukrainian Minister of Infrastructure Vladimir Amelyan during the opening of the second Ukrainian Silk Road Forum in Kiev.
Вы знаете, китайская сторона объявила о создании фонда, который уже действует в шелковом пути.
The Chinese side announced the creation of a fund that already functions, the Silk Road, with the support of all countries, including Kazakhstan and Ukraine. In December, we are holding a joint meeting of the Ukrainian-Chinese Commission in Kiev. I hope that certain agreements will be announced there. We have an understanding on cooperation both in the maritime sphere, railway transport, the road, are all projects where the Chinese side should and will participate, and I hope the Kazakh one too.
Китайская сторона, надеюсь, казахская тоже.
Prospects for the Silk Road are colossal. Over the past 4 years, China has invested more than $50 billion in One Belt, One Road project. Representatives of business and government in Kiev argue that the Silk Road brings people closer together and enables them to work in new projects. Ukrainian and Chinese experts agree that Kazakhstan plays a key role in this direction.